Hi, this is McMeen. I'm very happy to be with you to present my video lesson on sacred music for fingerstyle guitar. I'm very excited about the things I'm working on, and I'd like to involve you in it, and I hope that you enjoy the tuning that we're going to play in these songs as much as I do. We're going to be playing in an alternate tuning called CGDGAD tuning, or low C tuning. And I'm very excited about this tuning. I think it's good for sacred music and Irish music and other types of music, and we're going to concentrate on the sacred music medium in this lesson. I'd like to start by suggesting we put our capos on the 2nd fret of our guitar, and let's just play a couple chords to make sure we're in tune. We'll start with a G chord, and we'll have a D chord, and just back to the G. And our top E sounds like this. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to tune 4 strings of the guitar down. And I wish there were a way to avoid this, but I hope you'll find it's worthwhile. And we're going to tune these 4 strings down, and we're going to play a lot of these songs in the key of G. And that's why I had us thinking about the key of G. I'm thinking about going through a typical progression in the key of G, which is G, E minor, C, D. Very typical progression, we all know it. Now to get into this tuning, let's first start by tuning the top string down from E to D. And we're going to use the 4th string. We're going to be an octave above the 4th string. So we're tuning the E string down. And we check it with the octave, the harmonic at the octave. So that's down to D. Our 2nd high string we're going to tune down to A. And that's going to be an octave above our 5th string. So we come below it and then tune up. Okay, that's pretty close. Now we don't have to retune the 3rd string or the 4th string. The 5th string we have to take down from A to G. So that's going to be an octave below the 3rd string. We check it at the harmonic. Now the 6th string is going to be the most interesting. We're going to bring that down 2 whole steps, and it's going to be an octave below the 5th fret of the 5th string. So we bring it down and then up. So that's pretty close. Now we played the G, E minor, C, D progression, and let's do that a little bit in this tuning. And here's how we play a G chord. We have our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and if we want we can drape our thumb over the 6th string at the 2nd fret. And it sounds like that. I usually don't play the 6th string when I play the G chord. See how all those notes ring out. We have these 2 G's, which are an octave apart. Now to play an inversion of the G, we put our pinky on the 5th fret of the high string and play the top 5 strings. We can also bar the top 2 strings at the 5th fret. They have kind of a modal sound. And another inversion is to bring our pinky up to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, our index finger to the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and our pinky to the 9th fret of the 1st string. And we can also come up here. Index on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, ring finger on the 12th fret of the 1st string. And we have a little chord here, just one last G chord. Pinky here, ring here, index the 4th string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 4th fret, middle finger here. So there are a lot of G chords to practice. Now an E minor in this tuning would have our ring finger on the 4th fret of the 6th string, pinky right beneath that on the 5th string, and an index finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And we play the bottom 3 strings, we get an E minor chord. We we play the other strings, we get a very interesting chord that we can do many things with. Now an inversion of that chord is bar the bottom 3 strings at the 4th fret, put our middle finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. And we can also put our ring finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Another form of that E minor. And we can also come up here. And that's basically starting at a G minor down here, which is here's our G. Move that down 1 fret, we get a G minor, and we just bar up the neck of the guitar until we hit the E minor here. So there's some E minor chords that you can rewind the tape at your leisure and work through the fingering. Now the next chord is very important in this tuning. It's the C chord. It has a root note and a bass, and it spans 2 octaves and a third, a very broad chord in standard tuning. Excuse me, in the first position fingering. And we finger that by just as if you were fingering a D chord in standard tuning and moving the index finger down 1 string on the 2nd fret, from the 3rd to the 4th string. We have that beautiful, rich chord. We're going to use that a fair amount in sacred music. And we have an inversion here by putting our pinky on the 5th fret of the 1st string, strumming all the strings. And we can also bar up here, which again is this G chord, barred up the neck, top 5 strings. And we can even put the pinky down here for 3 octaves. So that's the C chord in this tuning. And just quickly go through the D chord. We have our thumb on the 2nd fret of the 6th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, kind of grabbing the guitar. And we can kind of play around that way. If we're going to play the 3rd string, we have to fret it at the 2nd fret with our ring finger. We have a very modal sounding D chord without any thirds in it. So if we did our little progression in this tuning, it has more of a haunting feeling to it. We can play in many different keys in this tuning, and if you see my video lesson on Irish music, you'll get a lot more detail and progressions in different keys. But for now, I think we'll just leave it at that, and what I suggest is you rewind your tape and go through and look at these fingerings a little more carefully so you feel comfortable with them. So when we hit them in the course of the songs, they won't be that mysterious. So I'll be back to you after you take a look at those chords again.